Now, rounding out Act 1, 3 words. Charming. Disease. Laughter. Jeannine Luby, everybody. Jeannine Luby.
Always the shortest one here? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Well, the time after 9/11 was a very emotional time in this country, as I'm sure you all remember. And there was anger, there was fear, there was resentment, there was hatred, there was so much going on. But I like to believe after every disaster, there's hope. And after this time, people were really fearful, and I remember that people didn't want to fly, their lives were turned upside down. Well, I saw an opportunity months after 9/11 happened. They were trying to encourage people to live their lives normally again. So I saw this deal. Under $800, I could go to Paris, my airfare, my hotel, everything. I thought this is an opportunity of a lifetime. It was my dream to go to Paris. I don't know if I was French in a former life or what, but I just loved the idea of France, and this was an opportunity for me that I couldn't pass up. But as I said, there was definitely all kinds of emotions going on after 9/11, and there was an anti-French sentiment, which was very interesting. We changed the name of our #1 vegetable in America to freedom fries. I don't know if we were going to punish the French or the potatoes. I'm not sure, but we were showing somebody. And I remember I booked my airfare. I had a friend say, I'll go with you. He said, this is your trip, but I'll tag along. And my friends, my close friends and my family was excited for me to fulfill this dream. But I remember some of my other friends and people who would say to me, France, why would you want to go there? What's to see there? I don't know. Little thing called the Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe, the Louvre, you know, Brie, baguettes, Beaujolais. These were just some of the things that I could think of. And then, of course, my other favorite comments were things like, France, why? You know they hate us. And I just didn't know that apparently there was this letter, Dear America, we hate you, exclamation point, signed the French. I had not gotten that letter, thank God, because I really wanted to go fulfill my dream and go to France, so I went. And there were so many things I wanted to see, but one of the things I was so excited about was going to see the grave of Vincent van Gogh. He's my favorite artist. He's buried in a little city outside of Paris called Auvers-sur-Oise. I was so excited. I was on the train with my friend, and apparently I hadn't done enough planning or research. I got on the right train, but I didn't know the stop. I just made an assumption that the city name would be up there. Now, we didn't have a map, not that I'd be able to read it anyway, but we looked and I didn't see the name of the city, and I got a little panicky. So I looked around the train, I thought we have to get there. And I believe things happen for a reason. I don't know why I picked this particular woman. She was petite, non-threatening. I asked her to help me. She spoke in broken English, and I'm sure I was massacring the French language. But we managed to talk to one another and communicate. And she had her keys in her hand, and she said, you come with me, I'll drive you. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, am I hearing this right? She's taking 2 strangers. Now, my friend was a man. He wasn't a hulking man. But still, he's a man, and we could be threatening. She wasn't afraid. We went with her, and I could not have been more excited. I'm like, I'm having a conversation in French with a real live French woman. We are riding in her little French car. We are riding down these tight, narrow little French streets. I was in heaven. It was great. And we got to Auvers-sur-Oise, and I wanted to thank her, and I knew, you can just tell about people, what kind of people they are. I thought she's not going to want to accept anything, but I wanted to thank her. I offered her some euros. She said no. She was going to Italy the next day. She said, let's exchange addresses. We'll keep in touch. I'll send you a postcard. And sure enough, she did. 10 years later, I've received many letters, many postcards, many emails and gifts. And 2 years ago, I went to stay with her and her husband in their little city of Saint-Leu-le-Forêt outside of Paris. They could not have been kinder to me. They treated me like their own, and they accomplished two things that are really difficult to do. They had me at a loss for words, and they made me cry. They threw me a surprise party with all their French friends and family to welcome me into their home. I was floored. I really was floored. And, you know, I'm going there in September, and I'm going to spend a week with them in Provence. I couldn't be more excited. That's my second dream, to see the French countryside. But my favorite thing, my favorite memory, was when she, Marie, and her granddaughter, Chloe, came to America for the first time a few years ago. They came to New York City. They wanted to see American culture. I had the opportunity to go down there, spend time with them. I showed them Brooklyn Bridge. I showed Marie her favorite building, the Flatiron Building in New York. And then we went to Ground Zero. And this was before the memorial was put up. There was all these people, of course. Everyone was taking pictures. There was the big hole in the ground. And she looked at it, and she turned to me, and she had a pained expression on her face. Her eyes were welling up with tears. Her expression said, "Quelle la tristesse." And she spoke in English. She said, "What sadness." And I looked at her, and we connected for that moment, and we felt the sadness together. And I thought, they don't hate us. When we look at one another as individuals, one-on-one, not just with our eyes, but with our hearts open, there is always hope and possibilities for wonderful things to happen. That's my story.